This is my video journal of my time spent interning at Suzlon Energy in India. Here's an introduction into what the company is involved with.
Be a pal. Belong to the Pure Lover Society. Sign up with pals.in. It's a Suzlon initiative.
Now let's talk about what I wanted from this internship. This internship served several purposes. Not only was it part of my work experience for my business experience module, it gave me something productive to do while on holiday. As with everything you take up, there are certain objectives and aims. This work experience gave me an opportunity to spend 6 weeks accomplishing several different things. The experience of working in a workplace environment would help me develop skills and techniques that would be directly applicable to my future career. It would also pave the path for a smooth transition from college to full-time employment. Academic knowledge gained during lectures and seminars served to prepare us with concepts and understanding. The internship would provide an actual workplace environment to put these to practical use. With a short 6-week internship, I could hope to test my interest and aptitude for a future career in the HR department without making permanent commitments to it. Last but not the least, this internship would promisingly help me enhance my employment records and help me build my resume for enhanced graduate opportunities. Now I'm briefly going to explain the task given to me. The assignment given to me was to create a competency matrix for the different functions under the supply chain management wing and present my findings in the form of a report. The objective of this assignment was to aid in the improvement of overall efficiency, improve employee performance, and retain a quality employee pool. In order to complete this task, there were a series of steps I was required to take. Firstly, without any previous knowledge of human resource management, I would conduct secondary research about a competency matrix, its advantages, disadvantages, benefits, and limitations. Secondly, analyze the organizational chart of the different departments under SCM in order to learn about the hierarchy and the consequent flow of instructions, along with gaining a better understanding of the scope of work of each individual in the department. I needed to understand the requirements listed on the job description for the position in each of these departments, thereby undertaking elementary research before the next task. Upon completing this analysis, I was then supposed to interview the AGM or the DGM to gain a better understanding of what the department's function was, their role in the running of the company, and the scope of individual employees, and then proceed with my project. Now that I've spoken briefly about what my task was, I'm going to talk about what theoretical concepts I applied. Working with the organizational chart, I learned about the hierarchy of communication and consequently was able to see where different combinations of flat and hierarchical structures apply to better assist the top and lower levels to work in harmony. While some of the smaller functions were flat, the larger ones were a combination of hierarchical and flat. The concept behind the competency matrix and its application was something I learned through secondary research. Understanding where attributes are missing and where attributes need to be added helps in improving the employee pool of the function and improves efficiency. Here I can successfully say that I'm a quick learner and adaptable in new situations. An advantage of working on a completely new topic was that I was able to conduct research and apply the knowledge immediately, seeing the importance and understanding the relevance of it in a workplace environment. Now I'm going to talk about enhancing of skills. Through the analysis of an organizational chart and later the job description, I was able to work on my analytical skills. This was not always easy as I was unaware of industry standards and consequently needed the assistance of my colleagues in order to better understand the yardstick that was applicable. Differentiating job descriptions where different positions have more or less the same tasks, I needed to be careful when analyzing the scope of these positions. This analysis helped me further understand what companies are looking for in applicants, enriching my experience at Suzlon. During the first few interviews, I was nervous. I was anxious as a result of an underlying tension to present myself appropriately. However, during the course of our discussion, I was becoming more accustomed to the setting and the discussion came more easily. Therefore, just between interviews, I was improving, both overcoming my nervousness and enhancing my communication skills. The opportunity to interview management was beneficial in terms of my current project and also enabled me to get a feel for the work that is done by these departments, roughly acting as a tester. I was quite intrigued with the functions of the finance department. Time management was another task. Ensuring my timetable worked alongside that of my seniors required careful planning and yet flexibility. This meant that there was more often than once a situation where I had to alter my timeline and adjust my work accordingly. This helped me understand that my time management and organizational skills was something I needed to work upon not only for university but also to equip myself for a professional career. Interacting with the senior management led to informal discussion as well. Given the professional setting, I was questioned about my modules at university and my preferred field of employment in the future. During these conversations, I was able to build my network. I worked on my networking skills and kept up the correspondence that supported this. In the long run, this would also enable me to contact my seniors for a reference letter when applying for a graduate level job. Perception versus reality. Being in an administrative department, I had no contact with the clientele of the company. The clientele of my department were the employees. All my interactions took place with employees, who mainly included my department head and an associate colleague. In addition to the senior management, I had the opportunity of interviewing. My initial perception was that my colleagues wouldn't be entirely forthcoming, and there would be an apparent divide between me and them due to the difference in age, experience, and thoughts. I didn't think my project manager would be very helpful either, as to them I would be an added burden to train and engage in work. All my misconceptions were far from the truth. My colleagues were welcoming and assisted me in even the smallest of tasks if I so needed it. Sensing my shyness, they were quick to make conversation and engage me in their tea time discussion. As for my manager, she was always welcoming and never let me feel the faintest of hesitation when approaching her. Experiential learning. The experience helped me more than just on paper. During my internship, I stayed in a new city, living alone in an apartment. The opportunity to work and live alone was one that left a mark. I was able to get a feel of what post university life is going to be like, living and working. Change in standpoint. When taking up the internship, I was excited to work in the department involved in human capital management. However, over the course of the internship, working in the HR department and seeing the day to day functioning of the department, I am convinced I do not wish to pursue HR in the future. The HR department has its own merits, being the department that helps with staffing, performance, change management objectives, and efficient administration, which is critical in all organizations as it deals with human capital. Through my time in the department, I have evaluated myself to be an effective communicator and a skilled organizer. Despite this, work involving recruiting, retaining, motivating, which are heavily reliant on communication skills and organizational skills, is not something I wish to take up in the future. The module and its merits. I would now like to talk a little bit about business experience as a module. When taking up business experience, I was aware that I would be taking up a 40-hour placement. This was one of the things I was looking forward to, as it would be a chance to put theory to practical use. I perceived it to be a module that would involve learning outside the class rather than inside. Furthermore, I hadn't anticipated that the module involved theoretical teaching from the professor, being more or less a self-taught module. Contrastingly to my belief, we were taught several skills inside the class that we could use not just for the compulsory 40-hour placement, but also graduate level placement. The smaller, finer points on the CV and resume writing were very valuable, mentioning certain things I wouldn't have given consideration to otherwise. Overall development. At the end of the module and my work experience, I was successfully able to add Suzlon to the list of my experiences as I had learned so much from my time there and using skills I had picked up during theoretical classes in university. I had developed skills and techniques such as making a professional style report for my project, time management skills, communication skills, both written and oral, and worked towards enhancing my analytical skills. I have been able to enhance my resume to include valuable experience and learned the importance of even the smallest additions, modifications, and proofreading and their consequent results on the resume and cover letter.